What's going on, guys? So I'm on my way to go do a pull workout right now, and I'm gonna bring you guys along. But what I wanted to show you is I'm actually walking to the gym right now, which is unusual because I'm usually driving, right? Here's the thing, since I'm walking to the gym and since I'm not doing cardio on this cut, what I've been doing is just integrating little training sessions like this where I'm getting my cardio in, I'm outside, it's beautiful, and I'm burning just as many calories as I would if I was on a stair stepper or if I was on a treadmill, but I get to be out here and it's awesome. So what I've been doing is morning walks, or I'll walk to the gym, or maybe I'll hike 2 or 3 times a week. That's how I'm getting my cardio in. And if you want to do the same thing, what you can do is get a Fitbit or an Apple Watch, or you can even just use your iPhone, and it has a pedometer on it that will show how many steps you're taking. You can calculate what your average calorie would be burned, and kind of get a ballpark estimate of how many calories you're burning just by walking, which is super awesome. So guys, don't think you have to be a slave to the treadmill if you're cutting. You can integrate cardio in many beautiful ways, and this is one of them. So the real reason I'm making this video right now is I'm going to show you guys what an honest to God progressive overload program looks like, and we're doing a pull workout. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to work out as a natural lifter. All right, guys, there's so much BS on this whole internet, YouTube's things of giving these guys, you know, these workouts where they're doing these very creative, interesting movements. And what's happening is you're getting these guys that are hopping from program to program to program because they watch the latest YouTube video, which shows this new angle to hit your lats. Bullshit, okay? What we're doing is we're doing the basics, we're progressing. I'm gonna show you guys exactly what that looks like. So, without further ado, let's get into this workout. 3, 2, 1, yeah!
Yo, what is going on, family? It has been a minute since I've done one of these voiceovers, so I'm super pumped to get into this. And I've got some amazing nuggets to drop on you guys, so you're going to want to stick around. Right now what we're doing is we're starting off with a pull workout, and I'm doing what's been a staple of mine for the last 4 to 5 weeks, which is this ISO row. And I do it single-handed, hook grip, and it's just been incredible. I've made a lot of progression on this. So I'm doing a set of 6 right here, 6 reps by 5 sets. And so we've just been making, you know, minor progressions week after week. And that's really what I want to talk to you guys about, is the reason most people aren't seeing gains after the first 2, 3, 4 years is really because they've been kind of taking advantage of the fact that when you first start off, pretty much any kind of stimulus is going to produce an effect in your body. But once you start reaching these more advanced tiers in your training, you have to get a little more intelligent with your training, a little more intelligent with your programming. So just trying out that new lat pull down that someone recommended on YouTube isn't really going to produce new gains for you. And so what you need to do is be focusing on getting good at certain movements, and then just slowly but surely progressing on them. And so progression can happen in a lot of different ways. As you guys know, I talk a lot about progressive overload, and everyone instantly assumes I mean just keep on stacking more and more weight on. And what you'll see is a lot of programs out there will have you do that. Let's say you're doing squats and you're starting at 200 pounds. So you'll do 200 pounds for the first week, and then the second week you'll put on a 5. And so you'll be doing 205, and the week after that you'll put on another 5, you'll be doing 210. But that's not really how I actually like to build my programs. My programs are based more around RPEs. Here I am eating my little intro workout carb. I've been loving these Fig Newtons on this cut. They're just really clean, pretty low fat carb source, and they're super sugary, so it just gives me a nice kick of energy. But like I was saying, a lot of what I'm progressing on is just what an RPE is. So let's say last week I did this T-bar row with the same exact weight. Let's say I did a set of 10, and it was an RPE of 9, right? So it was pretty damn difficult. Well, if I come at this week and I'm at an RP of 8 or 7.5, that in itself is a huge adaptation, which means I'm actually progressing on this movement, even though I haven't added any more weight or reps. And so a lot of guys, what they're doing is they're pushing so much weight that they're not really actually able to sustain volume that's going to have like a hypertrophic effect on the body. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you're doing this insane squat routine where you're adding 5 pounds to your squat every single week, you're not going to actually be able to maintain that volume, because you're always trying to find that sweet spot between intensity and volume, right? And you need enough volume, anywhere from about 10 sets per muscle group per week to actually produce a solid response. And so if you're constantly stacking on weight, you're not going to actually be able to achieve that volume response. So you want to find that sweet spot where you're matching intensity with volume. So my volume is staying static. I do the same sets every single week for every single training block. I'm changing my exercises every 8 to 16 weeks, but on average, it's all staying roughly the same. And so the actual number of sets I'm doing isn't changing, but slowly but surely, the intensity is going to grow, but it's not my main focus, right? My main focus is bringing that RPE down and then potentially adding reps or adding weight once I've achieved an RPE that feels like it's really manageable, right? So let's say 1 week I was doing 4 plates on that iso row and it was like a 9. Maybe in 4 to 5 weeks that could be a 7 or an 8, and that would be a huge progression. And then I can look on actually adding on some weight, because I'm actually going to be able to manage that same amount of volume. So this is going to be a little bit tricky if you guys are new to working out, but what you have to understand, if you're going to take away anything from this, is that it's our job to find that sweet spot between intensity and volume, and obviously progressive overload is a huge piece of continuing to build muscle, but you don't want to sacrifice volume at the cost of progressive overload, because you're not going to get an actual result of building muscle. So here's my friend hitting 315. Or not really hitting it, going for it, almost went to Snap City. He's got some pretty gnarly bodybuilder bench form, so that's like all chest and all delts, which in itself is kind of impressive that he's even able to manage that, but definitely has some Snap City form right there. So here we are, we're doing face pull. So I pretty much just showed you guys my whole entire pull day routine. That's what I'm going to be running for this whole entire cut. And I have 2 rear delt exercises to end it off with. So, what I want you guys to take away from this is a couple things. We talked about the piece about intensity and volume, and here's the second piece. Here's why a lot of guys in the fitness industry that are at this 3, 4, 5 year mark. Actually, side note, you'll see me palpitate my rear delt back there, and that's just going to help me engage it a little better. Sometimes I like to rub it or just give like a little smack, and it sounds really weird, but if you have parts of your muscle that you don't really have a easy time engaging, I like just to give it a little tap before I actually get into it, and that seems to do the trick for me. But yeah, the second piece that I want you guys to take away from this is that if you're constantly program hopping, right, you get that shiny new object syndrome, and you're always hopping from program to program to program. Sorry guys, my mic cut out for a second, but what I was saying is that the second point is that you don't want to constantly be program hopping, because a lot of times when you start a new exercise, there's what's called neurological gains, right? So that's just you building up the motor pathways to actually be good at that. And so you're going to excel really, really quickly, but you're not really tapping into any strength gains yet. So what I like to do is I like to stick with an exercise, like I said, for about 8 to 16 weeks to really see some solid progression that's actually going to build muscle. So if there's anything to take away from this, don't program hop too much. You want to do it maybe 2 to 3 to 4 times a year at most. We're always looking to balance intensity with volume if you're looking to build muscle. Progression is important, but it's not just about adding more weight to the bar. We got to figure out if we're actually making the adaptation, and this can happen through just the exercise feeling easier and using an RPE scale to measure that. With that being said, guys, I am out of here. Be sure to subscribe, click that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any questions at all, drop them down below, and I will be sure to answer them. Much love. Peace.